Hey everyone, REDyTay here and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. My last challenge trying to beat FireRed with Gastly was definitely one-sided. We could hit hard and had a lot of immunities, but when we got hit back, we had some major problems. This challenge is similar in the term of resistances, but Dratini stats are really going to make or break this run. Today we're going to see if we can beat Pokemon Blue with only Dratini. So let's talk stats. Unlike Gastly, who had very uneven stat distribution, Dratini has a more balanced spread. Attack is the highest stat, but only by little, while everything else hovers around the 40-50 range. With a base stat around 300, Dratini is basically a Dragon-type version of the game's starters, which makes this run especially interesting. The Dragon-type wasn't very well developed in Generation 1, and it's mostly defensive. Dratini resists a unique list of types: fire, water, grass, and electric. That's a big plus since these are the types of the three main starters. Since fairy type doesn't exist yet, we're only really weak to ice types. Now I know some of you might be thinking, REDyTay, Dratini is also weak to dragon types, and you'd be right, random YouTube viewer, so let's get to Dratini's moves. Yep, that's the list, and it's a short one. Dratini learns a new move only every 10 levels, which isn't ideal, and the only dragon type move it learns in this game is Dragon Rage. In fact, Dragon Rage is the only Dragon-type move in the entire game, and it always deals a fixed 40 damage, which has no bonus and is not stab. Plus, there's no such thing as a super effective dragon move here. Honestly, this moveset is pretty limited, so we'll have to rely on TMs to get through this challenge. While the TM list isn't the longest, it does offer a nice variety of types, which will be crucial as we progress. Alright, enough with the long intros, let's get into it. First, the rules. I'll be using only Dratini for this entire run, with other Pokemon allowed strictly for HM purposes. No cheats, hacks, or glitches will be involved, and no items will be used in battle. This should be a challenging run, but also a fun one. The start with Brock is already looking rough, but I'm excited to see where this goes. Let's dive in. You all know the routine: head to the grass, get stopped by Professor Oak, and get our starter. I used the Pokemon randomizer to swap Charmander with Dratini, and I decided to make Squirtle our rival's choice since we resist all the starter types, but Squirtle offers the best matchup. I named Dratini Martini. It was the first name that popped into my head. Martini's stats look pretty balanced to start, though our moveset is just Wrap and Leer, which is not ideal. I have a love-hate relationship with Wrap, especially in Generation 1. It traps the opponent and does a bit of chip damage over a few turns, but it doesn't hit hard and it really drags out battles. Still, Wrap is our only option for the first rival battle, so we just spam it until Squirtle goes down. We're hit a few times, but Wrap prevents Squirtle from attacking too often, which also helps in giving us the win. But the next time we see our rival, Wrap alone isn't cutting it. We're a bit under-leveled, and Pidgey takes Martini out pretty quickly with Gust. Guess it's time for some grinding. Fortunately, we only need to hit level 10 for Martini to learn Thunder Wave, which pairs well with Wrap for some solid early game control. In the rematch, we lead with Thunder Wave to paralyze Pidgey. Now that we're faster, we can use Wrap to lock it down until it faints. Unless we miss, which can happen. After Pidgey goes down, we focus on Squirtle. Our first Thunder Wave misses, but Bubble only takes 1 HP, and on the next turn we land Thunder Wave. From there, Wrap handles the rest of the battle, and we get to keep moving forward. So we got a way to snag wins even without solid attacks, but that doesn't mean Viridian Forest is a walk in the park. Thunder Wave doesn't get much use here, and we're not getting lucky with poison either. After the first battle, we have to use an antidote we found to avoid fainting before making it back to the Pokemon Center. The second battle goes the same way, but this time we don't have any antidote left. Luckily I remembered there's one a bit north of the next bug catcher. Good thing I saved before the fight. Time to grab the extra antidote so we don't white out and lose half our money. Fortunately, the last bug catcher doesn't cause much trouble, so now we'll just have to figure out how we're going to take on Brock. Spoiler, we don't have much of a strategy here, just spamming Wrap and Leer. It's too bad the Rock Gym is also the Ground Gym, because paralyzing his team would be amazing right now. So we'll take a shot at level 12 and see what we're up against. Maybe we'll get lucky. Well, not exactly, but it's a close call. First we try to lower Geodude's defense with Leer so Wrap can actually start doing some damage. That is easier said than done though, since Brock loves to spam Defense Curl, which just undoes our hard work. Eventually, I settle for 2 defense drops and switch to Wrap. Even with this setup, we are barely scratching Geodude, but after a long, tedious slog, we finally knock it out, and we've managed to keep over half of our health. Onto Onyx. Ideally, it would spam Bide, giving us a chance to rack up more defense drops and trap it with Wrap, but no luck. Onyx's tackles hit us hard, and our late attempt at Wrap just doesn't cut it. Honestly, multiple attempts won't help at this level, so it's time to grind. We are nowhere near learning a useful move, but at level 16, we try again. This time we make a little headway wearing down Geodude's defense, and I can actually tell that Wrap's doing slightly more damage. It's nothing major, but the small differences start to add up. After we finally take down Geodude, we have a little bit over half of our health left for Onyx. And here's the good news. Onyx opens up with Bide, giving us a chance to use some lures. A critical hit tackle makes things dicey, but with Wrap stacking up and Onyx locking itself into Bide, we manage to keep control. In the end, Wrap does its job, and we finally take down Onyx to secure our first gym badge. Time to move forward. That means onward to Mount Moon. We might be a little overleveled already, but I'd rather be very overleveled. Let's face it, Wrap is still our only attacking move. Our best strategy right now is boosting our stats so we can hit harder and withstand more hits while we slowly whittle our opponents down. Extra speed wouldn't hurt either, as we're not exactly fast in every matchup. So we're battling as many trainers as possible, though we're still skipping the occasional hiker to avoid dealing with rock types. Don't worry, that will change soon enough. First we need to grab the Dome Fossil and head straight to Misty and Cerulean. The good news with this gym battle is that we can actually use our Thunder Wave Wrap strategy, unlike last time, and unsurprisingly, it worked pretty well. Misty opens up with an X-Defend, which drags things out, but Staryu can't attack, so we'll outlast it eventually. Starmie's up next, and it's a similar story. Another X-Defend from Misty, but Wrap keeps wearing down Starmie slowly but surely. We do have to stay cautious though. Starmie's tackles chip away at our health in decent chunks. In the end, we stall Starmie out and outpace it in damage output, which is the key to winning any Pokemon battle. A gym victory on the first try is nice, but even better, we get the TM for Bubble Beam, which means we finally have a solid attacking move. Agility wasn't going to be much use anyway, so it's a welcome upgrade. Let's see how this fares against our rival. Pidgeotto opens up with a Gust, but we quickly paralyze it with Thunder Wave. Bubble Beam takes out about a quarter of his health. That's not as much as I hoped, but it looks stronger with each hit. After a quick attack drops us below half health, Bubble Beam still falls just short, so we finish it with a Wrap. Abra is a non-threat, and Wrap takes it down with no problem. Now it's Rattatas's turn. Bubble Beam might have worked here, but I played safe with Wrap, which does the job. Squirtle is last up. It's paralyzed immediately by Thunder Wave, and after a weak Water Gun from it, we stick with Wrap as our main offense. It pays off as Squirtle eventually goes down, dealing minimum damage in the process. Alright, Bubble Beam didn't quite shine as much as I hoped, but we still got another rival battle coming up on the SS Anne, so let's see how we're looking now. There's not much to report in between, except for all the levels we've gained from the battles along the way. This time, we are a solid 10 levels above Pidgeotto instead of just 4. Is that overkill? Maybe, but I'll take it. We start safely with Thunder Wave, though Wrap misses a few times while we take hits from Gust. Switching back to Bubble Beam, it now packs a serious punch. Likely thanks to that level advantage. It still takes 3 turns to bring Pidgeotto down, but this is a much better exchange. Bubble Beam also works well on REDyTay, although Quick Attack brings us close to worrying about our health again. As for Kadabra, Wrap's low damage is just fine against its weak defense. That leaves Wartortle. We just picked up Spam, which is— wait, Spam? That's a weird typo. That just leaves Wartortle. We just picked up Slam, which is powerful but terribly inaccurate. Right on cue, it misses 3 times in a row. Fortunately, Wartortle is either paralyzed or wasting turns on Tail Whip, so we aren't taking much damage. Finally, Slam lands, dealing solid damage, but we switch back to Wrap for accuracy, finishing off the fight with another win. Next up is Lieutenant Surge's team, and I am optimistic. Like with Misty, we resist his main type. Electric moves might obliterate water types, but electric Pokemon do not resist water. So, Bubble Beam almost one-shots Voltorb, crits Pikachu for a one-hit KO, and makes quick work of Raichu, who doesn't attack once. It's an easy win and another TM reward. Thunder Wave gets replaced with Thunderbolt, and it feels good to add more type variety this early on. Feeling confident, we enter Rock Tunnel. Usually hikers with rock ground types are a problem, especially since Self-Destruct would be a KO if it hits us, but here Martini outspeeds them all and Bubble Beam is a clean one-shot. The rest of the tunnel goes smoothly, and Thunderbolt proves useful, making this a great spot for extra experience and leveling. That means we're out of the cave without a hitch, and we head straight to the Pokemon Center to heal up for our next rival battle. First up is Pidgeotto, who goes down instantly to Thunderbolt. Growlithe nearly faints from one Bubble Beam, but hangs on, wasting his turn with Leer, so we finish it with Wrap. Execute is next, and here's where we hit a snag. No solid moves against grass types yet, though that will change soon. Our best option is Slam, which naturally misses the first time. When it finally hits, Execute survives and puts Martini to sleep with Hypnosis. Luckily, Martini wakes up right away, only taking a couple of barrages, and after one missed wrap, we finally finish it off. Kadabra comes in, and Slam lands perfectly for an easy one-shot. Finally, Wartortle is no problem thanks to Thunderbolt, and this battle is wrapped up smoothly. That one was straightforward, but Erica presents a unique challenge. Half of our moveset is resisted by her grass types. Slam hits hard, but is unreliable, and Wrap is just weak. Plus, status moves like Poison Powder and Stun Spore could derail things fast. So, I go for a backup plan. Originally I was considering Flamethrower, but since Martini can only learn Fire Blast, which is unavailable at this point, I decide on Ice Beam from the Celadon rooftop as we grab a soda for the Saffron guards. Ice Beam is versatile and will help in several battles to come. But now, about this battle with Erica. The first attempt it doesn't go well because of my oversight. Martini was already paralyzed from an earlier fight, and I thought Ice Beam alone could carry us through. That was a mistake. With the paralysis slowing Martini down, Victory Bell easily outspeeds us and whittles us down with Wrap. Round 2, we are status free and things go much better. Ice Beam doesn't one-shot Victory Bell, but it lands a crit and freezes it. One Slam finishes it off. Tangela also withstands an Ice Beam, but only retaliates with a weak bind, and another Ice Beam finishes it. Finally, Vileplume takes an Ice Beam down to a bit over half of its health, and hits Martini with Poison Powder. Fortunately, one last Ice Beam finishes the fight before the Poison becomes an issue. Ice Beam was definitely the right choice for this battle, and will be useful for some of the other parts of this challenge ahead. Giovanni and the Game Corner grunts don't stand a chance with our moveset, so we zip through those fights easily. Giovanni's ground types went down without much trouble, and even Kangaskhan, who isn't a ground type, almost fainted from one Ice Beam. From there, we wrapped things up without any issues, but the real challenge came with Koga. Definitely a tougher battle than I expected. Koga's poison team proved tricky because our defenses aren't great, while his Pokemon have solid defenses.
Poison gas poisoning us at the start of each battle is a problem, even if it's not toxic. We also recently learned Dragon Rage, but it's not ideal here. With a set 40 damage, it leaves even coughing with a sliver of health after 2 rounds. By now, most of our opponent's Pokemon have enough HP that Dragon Rage just doesn't pack the punch that we need. After some grinding, we revisit the battle at level 46, and luck is finally on our side. The first coughing goes down to 2 Thunderbolts while we take a hit from Sludge. The damage is manageable. Muk comes in next, and I go for Ice Beam hoping for a freeze. No freeze, but Muk uses Minimize, so we switch to Thunderbolt, which lands 3 times in a row while Koga wastes turns with X Attack and a fail to disable. Miraculously, Muk doesn't use a poison gas, so we get to the second coughing without any status conditions. Ice Beam hits hard on the second coughing and Smog misses, letting us take it down with another Ice Beam. Finally, it's time for Weezing. We open with Thunderbolt, but no paralysis. Thankfully, Toxic misses. Another Thunderbolt takes Weezing to low health, and Koga only responds with a weak Smog and an X attack rather than healing. We finish off Weezing with Dragon Rage, wrapping up the battle. The grind helped a lot, but honestly, luck played a huge role in this attempt too. Afterwards, we grabbed the HMs for Surf and Strength, and Martini learned Surf, much stronger than Bubble Beam. Now we're set to face our rival, and for the first time, we'll see how we fare against his fully evolved Blastoise. We're actually not ready for this fight. We keep losing, and it's due to several issues, with the biggest one being our defense. We take several hits, and the damage quickly adds up, especially when our rival gets lucky with Psybeam. We can easily one-shot some of his team, but we just can't do it for the ones where it really matters. It also doesn't help when Execute paralyzes us with Stun Spore or drains our health with Leech Seed. Some battles go well enough that we reach Blastoise, and in one we even got him down to a sliver of health, but in the end, we're just too weak and slow from paralysis to avoid being taken out in the next turn. So I guess we have no choice but to grind. We might as well battle every trainer we can find here in Silphco and aim to reach level 50. At level 50, I'm loving the attack stat, but the other stats haven't improved much.
Our health isn't bad, but our defense is still lackluster, and I wish our speed and special were higher. I haven't been too disappointed with how Thunderbolt, Surf, and Ice Beam have been performing, but we really need these moves to land one-shots in tough battles like this rival fight. I don't know how much our stats improved from grinding, but let's hope it's enough of a boost to get the win. Also, when we reached level 50, Martini learned its final move, Hyper Beam. Dragon Rage was already outdated, so we replaced it. Now we have a really strong but somewhat inaccurate physical move. We might need it to pull off the win here. Back against our rival, and Thunderbolt is still our answer for Pidgeot. It's not a one-shot, but we only take a weak wing attack, so even with the potion our rival used, we knock it out in the next turn. Growlithe goes down easily thanks to Surf. Execute is next, and this one caused us a lot of problems before. Thankfully, all that grinding got us to the point where we can successfully one-shot it with Ice Beam. No paralysis or Leech Seed this time, so we're in a much better position for Alakazam. Things get a little scary when Alakazam lands a strong Side Beam, but it can't withstand our Hyper Beam, so we're doing decently so far. Now it all depends on Blastoise's response. Thunderbolt is our go-to here, and it hits hard, even if it's not a one-shot. Blastoise responds with a weak bite, putting us in a perfect spot to knock him out with a final Thunderbolt. It's great to have that roadblock behind us, and I don't think Giovanni's fight will cause us any issues at our current level. His Nidorino hits us with a Poison Sting, but 2 Thunderbolts from us take it down quickly. Kangaskhan is tanky, and this shows when it survives our Hyper Beam. It uses Tail Whip to lower our defense, and since we have to recharge, it also gets in a bite. That hurts a little, but we end this exchange with Thunderbolt. Rhyhorn is barely worth mentioning since Ice Beam takes it out in one hit. Nidoqueen survives Surf and hits us with a weak scratch, and we wrap up the battle in the next turn. I think we're finally gaining some momentum, so let's see if we can keep it going as we battle Sabrina. We don't have any super effective moves for her team, but I believe we can hit hard enough for the win. Kadabra is faster than us and lands a mediocre Side Beam. Our Thunderbolt does around the same amount of damage, but it also paralyzes, which is great. That said, I decided to switch gears and use Hyper Beam for the easy takedown. Next up is Mr. Mime, so we go back to Thunderbolt. Another paralysis. What are the odds? Of course, Mr. Mime also has good luck with landing a 5-hit double slap. We stick with Thunderbolt, which is working well, but it might not be the best strategy now that Mr. Mime has set up a light screen. It goes down soon after, but now we need to think about how we're going to handle Venomoth. I made the common mistake of thinking Venomoth was part flying, so I used Thunderbolt. But hey, hasn't everyone made that mistake? I don't know what I did to deserve all these Thunderbolts causing paralysis, but I'll take it. Venomoth's Side Beam doesn't hit too hard, but I'm starting to get concerned about our health. Since Thunderbolt doesn't do that much damage, I decided to try Ice Beam. It does a little better, so we stick with that for the next turn, and we get the knockout. We got lucky with Venomoth getting paralyzed on its last turn because we can't afford to take much more damage with Alakazam still to come. Alakazam opens with Recover at full health, so maybe the AI will cut us a break here.
It also helps that Alakazam has a terrible defense stat, meaning our Hyper Beam is all we really need to wrap up the battle.
Honestly, that was probably the last uncertain gem left in the game. I don't expect this challenge to go like my previous Gastly run, and I'll be floored if Blaine is actually an issue. And I was right, there's not much to say about this battle. We just spam Surf, which is a strong water move even against non-fire types. It was interesting that we had a speed tie with Rapidash and Arcanine, but we didn't take any damage during the whole battle. Kudos to Blaine for using a Super Potion on Arcanine, but in the next turn, he had it use Roar, showing that the AI still has a long way to go before it can handle real gym battles. Anyway, it was a straightforward win, and I am expecting something similar when we face Giovanni. It helps that we have Ice Beam, which is great for one-shotting Rhyhorn. Dugtrio is faster, but just uses Growl, which is useless in this battle, so we easily one-shot it with Surf. Nidoqueen also survives the Surf, but Giovanni only uses a guard spec, so another Surf is more than enough to move on. Nidoking is up next, and I wanted to see how Ice Beam would fare against it. Pretty good, but it's still standing. Giovanni picks Tackle as his next move. Anyway, Surf takes Nidoking down as well. Rhydon is last, but this one can withstand Ice Beam, unlike Rhyhorn. The cherry on top of this battle is when Rhydon wastes his turn by using Tail Whip, which fails. It wouldn't have mattered if it worked though, because we hit it with one more Ice Beam to knock it out. Wow, I love it when the end of the battle run goes this smoothly. Now the question is, will the rival battle go like this too, or will it be a repeat of when we first faced him in Silph Co? The first attempt ended in a loss. The first half of the battle went smoothly, we just took some damage from Pidgeot, but we didn't encounter any real problems until Execute, which returned to its tried and true strategy of paralyzing us with Stun Spore. Luckily, we were still able to take it out before it could hit us with a Solar Beam. However, with paralysis hanging over us, we struggled against Alakazam and we were soon defeated. I still think we can win at this level though. On the second attempt, we took care of Pidgeot with Thunderbolt just like before. This time it was a critical hit, so things are going even better. Rhyhorn and Growlithe were easy to handle with Surf as usual. Now it's time to face Execute again. We stuck with Ice Beam, it was so close to one shot. Our rival used a potion which allowed us to get past this part of the battle at full health and without any stats conditions, thanks to another Ice Beam. Next up was Alakazam. Starting with Recover was a bold move, but I don't think it would work against the Hyper Beam we were about to unleash. It didn't go well for our rival. Now we were face to face with Blastoise at full health. I was concerned since we were only one level higher than it and it is faster than us. Thunderbolt was falling short, leaving Blastoise just a little above half health after the first hit. The good news was that Blastoise Skull Bash didn't hit too hard, the next Thunderbolt brought it down to a sliver. Blastoise then got unlucky when its bite missed, and we finished it off with one more Thunderbolt for the win. Now we just need to get through Victory Road so we can face the Elite Four and our rival one last time. Once again, for what feels like the 100th time, though it's not, I'm concerned about Lorelei. I know she's been a problem in many challenges, but this time we are a solo dragon type. Her team is built for situations like this. Martini really only has one weakness in Generation 1, and it's the ice types. The good news is that the majority of Lorelei's team is also part water, so Thunderbolt will be a godsend in this battle. That said, I'm not entirely confident that our special stat is high enough to get Thunderbolt to the point where it can one-shot most of Lorelei's team. We need this move to hit hard enough since most of her ice-type moves could easily one-shot us in return. This is part of the reason we're grinding to at least level 60 before jumping into these battles. Outside of Lorelei, I don't think Bruno or Agatha will be too much of a challenge. We don't have any solid plans for them, but I think we can hit it hard enough where it matters. Lance could have been a problem if his dragons had more moves besides Dragon Rage, but they don't in this generation, and we have Ice Beam, so we should be in a good position to beat him when we reach that battle. So after getting through Victory Road and some additional grinding, we're at level 60. Stat-wise though, we are not quite ready. After battling some of the trainers on Victory Road, I noticed that we can't even one-shot water Pokemon that are a solid 10 levels lower than us with Thunderbolt. If we can't do that here, we definitely can't do that against Lorelei's team. So instead of continuing at level 60, I decided to grind Martini to level 65. It's quite a sizable jump in stats with those 5 extra levels. We're so close to getting our special stat into the triple digits, so it's still a bit concerning that we are still just shy of that milestone. However, our attack stat is at 140 and defense and speed are decent. We didn't make any changes to the moveset though. I'm pretty happy with it. Great type coverage and a hard-hitting physical move. Lorelei historically has been a big issue before, so let's see how we fare at this level. We're doing okay against Lorelei, but it's hard to gauge. Thunderbolt is hitting hard, but we're not one-shotting anything unless we get a critical hit, and those are rare. It shouldn't be surprising, but Aurora Beam hits really hard, and we can't take too many hits. 2 of those easily take us out, and by the time we get to Lapras, we definitely can't survive its blizzard. We've collected 6 rare candies in this challenge, and I can't think of a better time to use them, so we are revisiting the battle at level 71. A win at this level still doesn't seem possible, but things are looking better. Aurora Beam isn't taking half of our health anymore, and Thunderbolt is doing more damage. Unfortunately, this just leads to the same situation over and over. We take down most of Lorelei's team, but we're going to get hit by at least 2 Ice-type moves. Since we can't one-shot Lapras, Blizzard takes us down every single time. More grinding. But even at level 77, we're still meeting the same fate with Lapras. If we just had some good paralysis luck in one of these attempts, I know we could finally win this battle. We just need to land one more Thunderbolt to seal the win. Eventually we start making progress. Things begin well in this attempt, with Thunderbolt landing a critical hit and one-shotting Dugong. No Aurora Beam here really helps us. It also one-shots Cloyster, which we've been able to do in previous battles. What's more impressive is that we keep the one-shots going when Slowbro comes out, since it is more defensively tanky. Jinx is also one-shot, but as you've seen in the previous footage, we've been one-shotting it every time. It has no chance of surviving Hyper Beam. This has been an extremely fortunate battle for us. It's the best setup we could ask for against Lapras. Thunderbolt lands on Lapras and it's not a one-shot, which isn't surprising at all. What did surprise me was that we survived the Blizzard. I really thought we would easily get one-shot by that move, but we didn't, which gives us one more turn to attack with Thunderbolt and win the battle. Finally, we've passed that hurdle. Why is Lorelei always such a problem in these challenges? You know what isn't a problem in this challenge? Bruno. Onix goes down easily with the Surf, Hitmonchan can't handle it either. The same goes for Hitmonlee and of course the second Onix. Machamp is last out and I decide to switch things up by using Hyper Beam, but Machamp survives it. However, Bruno makes a mistake by using back-to-back X defense, so we take no damage while we are recharging. When we're able to get back on the offensive, we easily finish the fight with Thunderbolt. Another easy win. Agatha, however, is annoyingly troublesome. There are a lot of issues in this battle. For one, there's no special stat split in this generation, so Gengar's high special lets it handle our special moves quite well. Gengar's defense is terrible though, and we do have a strong physical attack, but it's normal type, which means it won't do anything against her ghost types. We also have to be cautious of moves like Hypnosis, which combined with Dream Eater can end the battle quickly. Another thing to watch out for is Nightshade. Since Martini is still a first form Pokemon, our health isn't the best, and Nightshade can really add up. Which is strange considering it wouldn't have been that effective in my previous Gastly challenge. Anyway, I'm not keen on grinding more because I think we can win if things go the right way.
Another attempt, Thunderbolt lands as a critical hit, but Gengar is still standing.
Then we take 56 damage from a Nightshade. Another Thunderbolt, but this one falls short, so we're hit with another Nightshade. This is looking like a bad start, but we keep using Thunderbolt and the first Gengar eventually goes down. Golbat is next, and Thunderbolt falls short of a one-shot again. However, Agatha wastes a turn with a Super Potion, so we easily finish Golbat with another Thunderbolt. We gain a level, and now we have to face Haunter. Thunderbolt takes it down to half health, but we're in a dangerous spot due to another Nightshade hitting Martini. Yikes, we are down 37 health, and we still have more of Agatha's steam to deal with. And great, now we are subjected to the 256 glitch with Thunderbolt missing. At least Haunter's Hypnosis also misses. The next Thunderbolt lands, but Haunter is still standing. Another Hypnosis miss from Haunter gives us the chance to knock it out. Arbok is next, but we can easily take it down with Hyper Beam. Now we just have to deal with the second Gengar, and things are not looking good. We're out of Thunderbolts, and I go back and forth trying to decide which move we should use next. Well done, Agatha. Dream Eater while we're still awake actually helps us here. Ice Beam doesn't do much damage, but it freezes. This is our lucky break. We spam Surf, and even though Agatha uses a Super Potion, we easily secure the win thanks to that status condition. That victory was partly due to the bad AI, but Ice Beam definitely came in clutch. This move should make a win against Lance extremely likely. First up is Gyarados, and Thunderbolt is the move of choice. It's an easy one-shot since Gyarados is 4 times weak to electric moves. From here, everyone else is basically a one-shot with Ice Beam. Lance's team has a major weakness to that type. Aerodactyl is faster than us and hits us with a Hyper Beam, but it doesn't hurt that much.
It's funny how easy it is to beat Lance, but Lorelei is an absolute menace in this challenge.
But now we face our last big test, beating our rival. Pidgeot survives Thunderbolt, but its wing attack hardly does anything to Martini. It soon goes down on the next turn. Alakazam is next, and since it's faster, we have to deal with a Reflect for a good portion of the battle. Reflect helps Alakazam hang on from our Hyper Beam. The good news is Alakazam wastes a turn trying to use Reflect again while we recharge. When it finally attacks, it deals a sizable amount of damage with Side Beam, but we respond with Surf for the takedown. Rhydon is next, but it soon goes down to an Ice Beam. Arcanine follows, and it withstands Surf, but since it uses Roar, we don't take any damage before Arcanine faints from another Surf. Executor comes out, and it survives a Hyper Beam. I'm not sure why I didn't use Ice Beam here. I wasn't thinking. Anyway, because of that, we are subjected to 2 turns of barrages, but we finally get to attack again, and this time we smartly use Ice Beam to knock Executor out. Last time was Blastoise, and I'm worried about Blizzard. This was the reason I picked it to be our rival starter, but we're faster, and Thunderbolt lands. Ooh, as a critical hit. I will take that. Wow, a first try win for the final rival battle. Not that I didn't think we could do it, but I was worried about Blastoise in the end. This challenge really wasn't that bad. Genie's typing and team list really helped it, but its lackluster moveset and weakness to ice types still made this a little bit of a challenge. It wasn't the hardest challenge I've done, but we were struggling with inefficiency here and there. I guess I shouldn't be surprised by the outcome. Dratini is the first form of a pseudo-legendary after all. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this challenge. Stay tuned for my next one where I'll try to beat Pokemon Silver with a single Mantine. Should be an interesting run again because of the typing. I'm also in the process of playing through Pokemon Yellow to commemorate its 25th anniversary release in the United States. If you want it, check that out and maybe share what the game means to you in the comments. In the meantime, feel free to check out some of my other challenges. Don't forget to like and subscribe for updates and leave comments about what you enjoyed, what challenges you'd like to see in the future, and any suggestions for improving these videos. I always appreciate creative input. Thanks for watching everyone, and until next time, Geronimo.